Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back and thanks for tuning back in. So I got a really cool message through the Reddit private message system. I got a note from a player, really well thought out note, and he asked me if I could just answer a few questions. It sounds like he's the leader of his clan, and what's interesting about some of the videos that I've been putting together is that they really are tailored towards, I mean, obviously the players, but with the leaders in mind, because I'm going through what a lot of the other clan leaders are going through, and that's just trying to figure out how to lead your team through this through a lot of the changes in the game and keep everybody focused and keep everybody motivated. It's an everyday struggle, but when you see that light kind of click in a player's head when they just get it, when they get an attack or they get the whole secret behind three-starring bases, it's pretty rewarding. So. We're, like I said, we're still at a transitional stage, and we are working in that direction, and it takes time. It takes time, and it takes effort, and a lot of investing your time and training up all of the members, and their effort and their dedication in learning the game and becoming students of the game. So anyway, he wrote me a message. We're going to go through a lot of that, but before that, I just wanted to give a quick update on the base. I'm down to about 30 Legos. I've been averaging about 5 or 6 a day. I've stopped farming DE for a while because my Archer Queen's at 20, on our way to 21, and I've got some really cool stuff to show. I'm going to wait for this upgrade to finish, and then I'll show you an interesting tactic that I've been playing with that has some implications with clan wars. But basically, I was, just to give you a peek, I was in Crystal 1 with nothing but an AQ and 8 healers, wrecking bases left and right. And if you thought that was a gimmick, it's not a gimmick. It's actually it actually works. So I'm gonna let this upgrade finish, and then I'll come back to you guys with some of that fun stuff. But anyway, let's get to that note. This clasher, I'm not gonna list their name. I didn't get a chance to really talk to them to see if it was cool if I could even show this. So just to respect their privacy. I've omitted that clasher's name, but I'll leave it here for you to read through. There were a lot of the questions here were centered around opinions on the base, and then how to work with a leadership team to develop these core abilities within their team, and how we went ahead and did it. So this is kind of I threw down some talking points, but this is going to be kind of a free thought lecture, and I'll just do some replays in the background. But as far as the base is concerned, let's go ahead and take a look at the base. Okay, so as far as the base is concerned, I did take a look at this, and you have employed pretty much everything, all of the best practices with base design that I could think of. I mean, obviously, if you are designing a base, and this goes for anybody, there are a couple of design goals that you want to, that you always want to observe. Hang on just one second here. You want to leave your attackers guessing as much as possible, and at this level, really, what you're trying to defend against is all of the derivatives of Go-Wee attacks, as well as air attacks coming in from Balloonian, and usually that means employing a couple of different tricks to make sure that you're routing the troops that you want them to. Now, the only issue that I have with this base is that it's really compact. Now, that's a really good thing, and it's a really bad thing. It's a really good thing because somebody has to basically overload their DPS to get past your first line of defenses. But there are a couple of things that you did with this base that we've run into with other bases that make this really tough to attack. First of all, you have a lot of pockets, which makes this really tough to hit with Go Wipe. But everything is really compact, and that makes you open to hogs. That means that if anyone can figure out how to trigger your double bombs, and one of the really great things that you did was this, you left these 4 spaces open here to keep them guessing as to where they are. But on a follow-up attack, if you hit a clan that specializes in 3-star attacks, they'll figure out a way to disable these double bombs and then hog your base because everything is so compact. That's not necessarily a terrible thing, but it is what it is. Like if I saw this base, one of the first things that I would probably do is try to figure out how to hog it. So that's really what you're trying to defend against. I mean, that being said, I think it's a great base. I think that the fact that your heroes are mostly centralized. The only other thing that I would do is where attacks are going to be going is that they're almost always going to favor attacking the AQ side. which means load up your skeleton traps to load to trip whenever the AQ hits as well. And then the BK over here doesn't really add any value, so try to figure out a way to get the BK incorporated into not just defending this side, but defending the AQ. Because anything you can do to have her live a little bit longer is going to be to your advantage. And if that means delaying an attack with your BK, then that's the way to go. But otherwise, other than that, I think you've got great triangulated DPS. Everything is covered by 3 or 4 other defenses. Somebody would have to load up a lot of tanking to get past this base. The only other thing that I would do is in my base, I've got about 7 spots to throw double giant bombs. That's how open it is, and it's pretty tough to 3-star because there are a lot of pockets, and so would something like this. But if you do get an attack, and if you do get 3-starred, it'll probably be some sort of a go-ho variant. So great job on that base. And let's see here. So that's the first question. The second question, do you have a progression of strategies that you go through when deciding when to take on a base? So we spent about 2 or 3 months getting everybody trained up on on Go Wipe. It's a nice foundation for understanding the more advanced attacks later on, because you have to learn things like funneling. You have to learn things like directing your troops into the core. But part of the issue with Go Wipe that we ran into is that we had no trouble getting into the core of bases, but after a while, once you get into the core, they couldn't fight their way out. Now, a lot of other groups had figured this out, and one of the things that one of the tricks that they came up with was to jump them out of the core. But if somebody were attacking your base with Go Wipe, it would probably be pretty tough to do that because there are so many pockets. So really what it comes down to is to, let me just get this back up here. Really what it comes down to is dropping the front-loaded DPS. So if you were bringing in three P.E.K.K.A.s, maybe you only bring in a couple P.E.K.K.A.s. If you were bringing 3 golems, maybe only bring 2, or maybe only bring 1. Really what it is creating a coring team that has just enough troops to take out the core, but not so many that you end up losing, that you end up taking that space with other troops that could make it through the rest of the base. Now what we've been doing is incorporating balloons and hogs to take out the backside. And that also means incorporating an extra heal into your strategy, as well as a jump to get them out of the core once they get through there. Now, if you can do that, that is really the key to 3-starring a lot of bases. Everybody can get to the core, but really the trick of 3-starring bases is getting out of the core and then taking out the other exterior defenses. So there really is no progression of attacks. I mean, everybody's trained up on Go Wipe, but everyone right now is learning, relearning anyway, how to do Go Ho, which is just golems and hogs. And then it's either more golems and more witches and fewer hogs, or 1 golem and 2 witches and 6 or 7 wizards and then 28 hogs. Like it all comes down to the base and how the base is set up. Some bases are going to lend themselves to a straight up hog raid. There really is no such thing as a generic hog raid, but if you were going to be going in with 2 golems, you would do 2 golems, 4 witches, maybe 6 or 7 wizards, and then whatever is left over, you would have hogs somewhere between 12 and 16. So that's that. I mean, so again, just get your team into the core, get them out of the core, and then have something to take out the back 9. Now, the next question is a little bit trickier. You were asking how we got our clanmates to venture into the world of more exotic attacks. Like I said, we're in a state of transition. We've got maybe half of the clan working on them, and the other half developing out their troops. So not everybody can participate in this because not everybody has the troops to be able to do that. So we have an upgrade path for everyone, and that upgrade path favors hogs around 4, P.E.K.K.A.s at 3, golems when you get the chance, definitely witches to 2 when you have them. And if you have not upgraded your CC and you're a Town Hall 9, get that upgraded right away, because that is really the core to getting you either those bigger P.E.K.K.A.s or those bigger golems in your clan castle. We don't actually kick anyone for poor attacks. So long as somebody has the willingness to learn, and we see that they're trying, to learn the strategies, and they have an earnest and honest effort to improve, they stay with the clan. For us, it really is all about attitude and keeping everybody with the clan. We're not a hardcore raiding guild, so we want to make sure that the people that are here, we're spending time, and we're spending time with each of them and working on their different attacks. They tend to stay around longer, and that's the proof of that is in our membership. We've had members here for probably over a year now, and the folks that come stay, and that shows to me that at least in a leadership capacity, we've been doing a pretty good job there. So we grow everybody organically. From time to time, we do get a couple of really talented players to come, and when they do, you want to make sure that you give them the room to share their to share their techniques and strategies with everybody else. If that means promoting them or highlighting their videos, then that's what you do. But we do have a bunch of training videos that we put out that cover all the basics: how to lure, how to do things like kamikaze balloons to take out clan castles. The basic strategy behind coordinating attacks. Setting up the war strategy ahead of time so that people understand how to choose bases. What is off limits. How to work on your different attacks. Our strategy used to be hit your match, which it's great from an expectations point of view, but it really didn't work out, as far as being able to 3-star people. And what it was doing was stifling people's creativity in that, people are going to be better at different things. We have people that specialize in dragon attacks. We have people that specialize in hog attacks. We have a couple of people that are even decent with balloons. And really what it is, you need to be able to give those people room to go and develop their attacks. And if, obviously with the understanding that if it doesn't work out, that they have to switch their tactics until they find something that does work. Because, they say the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting the same result. So you want to make sure that people are constantly reviewing their attacks and switching up their strategies until they find something that they're comfortable with. And the other thing that we do is we do a training war. So we do 3 wars back to back, and then we take a break. We take a break to give everybody else a chance to farm, upgrade heroes, do whatever. And then during that week, we do a practice war. And that practice war is the one that you're seeing right now. Nobody had heroes, nobody had spells because we had a bunch of people upgrading. And this team didn't even use all of their attacks. We totally could have beaten these guys, but like I said, I made a promise to these guys that we would have a no pressure practice war, and that's what happened. Everybody went in, was playing with their hogs and witches, and just trying to understand what just get comfortable and reacquainted with all of these tactics all over again. And this has worked out extremely well for us with just getting people the space to be able to practice these attacks in a live environment with no pressure. And again, the idea here is they have to go in with the idea of being able to improve their attacks, but you can't get there until you actually practice the attacks. So that's where we're at in that respect. Now the other big thing that makes all of this even happen, this isn't all the work of one person. I mean, I have an incredibly strong leadership team here, and they take a lot of the pressure off of me to be able to, so that I can go in and actually enjoy the game. But they work with everybody to make sure that everybody's up to speed. We have people who help out everyone with their attacks. Really, the core of any good functional clan is going to be the leadership team and whether or not they're respected within your clan, and whether or not they're willing to share and perpetuate your vision of what the clan should be. And at least as far as this clan's concerned, we have an incredible leadership team. We have people who are just really invested in the process and invested in the members. So that's an incredibly important thing to make sure that you have those guys. So moving right along, you were asking how we recruit. We don't recruit. As a matter of fact, these YouTube videos are pretty much all the world knows about us. And these videos have done a pretty good job of bringing in the right type of people. People have a weird view of what we are. I mean, let me state for the record that we're nowhere near the level of where Troopers or One Hive is, but we're working in that direction. And so long as people want to continue working in that direction, that we'll continue to do that. But we are a part of the RCS, and the RCS guarantees pretty much an infinite flow of members into the clan, and we grow people from within. So if you have the troops but you don't have the strategies, you come and take a look at us. We'll work with you, and that's worked out extremely well for us. We haven't gone the route of the constant warring clan because none of us have the bandwidth to manage wars 24/7. So we do the 3, and then we do trainings in between, and that's worked out. That's worked out extremely well for us as far as keeping everybody motivated and keeping everybody from burning out. That's the other big thing. You want to make sure that everybody has enough room in the game to actually enjoy it and still have a life outside of it. It is tiresome to train up new members, but we have a playbook. We walk them through a bunch of different basics. And it really is up to the members to learn, to go through that training on their own, and and go through that training. So it's worth it. If you invest that time in people, people will respond in kind. Now, as far as attack strategies are concerned, I covered that a little bit earlier, but really what it's going to be coming down to is the core of any attack is going to be your golems and your witches. So at least get your witches to 2 and start working on those golems when you have the chance. Now, the prerequisite to having all of this in place is having hogs and loons maxed out. So hogs 5, loons 6, giant 6 is extremely helpful, and then all of your spells maxed out is obviously extremely helpful also. But the core of any of these attacks is going to be your golems and your witches, and then after that, it's a question of what DPS do you bring? Do you need to bring a P.E.K.K.A? Do you need to bring Valks? Do you need to bring hogs or loons or whatever? We showed a lot of different tricks for being able to disable pockets of defenses, and that's been extremely helpful for being able to attack bases in kind of a methodical fashion, so that you're not just spamming your troops and then hoping for the best. You're really approaching the base by thinking about, how do I take out this pocket? How do I take out that pocket? What happens next after that? What's the backup plan if none of that works? And then just working through that. And as far as spell selection is concerned, the core of any go we raid is either if you're going in with hogs, then obviously go heavy on the heals. But if it's going to be more of a go we mixed raid, you can do all 4. One of each spell, but definitely learn to work heals into your spells. So if you're going in there with 3 rages, just remember, rage doesn't work on dead troops. You got to keep your troops alive long enough, to be able to use your spells on them. But the timing of when to drop those spells, that's one of those things, one of those skills that only really develops over time and practice. So, as far as standard attack strategies, there really is no standard attack strategy. The core foundation of all of the attacks is golems and witches, and then after that, we are moving everybody away from go wipe, because of the addition of the skeletons makes it extremely difficult to attack bases that know how to use those skeletons properly, especially with go wipe. And essentially, the issue there is that those P.E.K.K.A.s pack so much damage in one swing, but they swing so slow. So if you send 3 or 4 P.E.K.K.A.s into the core of a TH10 base, and that TH10 base has 3 maxed out skelly traps, that's 16 extra troops in there that they've got to go and deal with, on top of whatever is in the clan castle, before they can actually start swinging in any buildings. So you have to really start thinking about how to incorporate additional distraction troops, either some additional witches or some wizards to back up your P.E.K.K.A.s as they're going into the core of a lot of bases. But really what it's going to be, it's going to be about golems, it's going to be about witches, and then it's going to be about what combination of hogs and loons will it take to take out the back 9 of a base. So yeah, that covers your questions. As far as additional advice, what I try to do is, I want to enjoy this game too. This is not supposed to be work for me, and the leadership team gives me that space to be able to go and enjoy the game. So the best advice I can have for you is to make sure that you keep it fun. Don't get down on members when things go wrong. Make sure you're always supportive. Your members will respond in kind if you're supportive of everything that they do, and you have to be willing to fail a little bit, so long as everybody understands that these are all diagnostic runs, and everybody has a bad day, and everybody has to start somewhere. Nobody starts understanding these strategies on day one. People have to work up to that level. And one of my core one of my core philosophies with respect to that is people with skin in the game, people who have developed along with the clan, tend to stick around a little bit longer. And that's pretty much proven out to be pretty true. People have come in and out of the game and burned out on their own, but for the most part, everyone that's here has been here for an extremely long time. And again, that tells me that I've been doing the right thing. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions or anything to follow up with, just drop it in the comments. But yeah, I hope you thought that was helpful. And again, if you guys have any other questions, just drop them in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you on the next raid.